What's up? I wanted to watch the Jon Stewart video with Gary Gensler. I figured I'd do it live. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. Let me get this shared out real quick. I'll let some people join the room. See if my lives is up yet. I'm eating a delicious toaster scramble, so you know that's always good. But everybody's talking about Jon Stewart and Gary Gensler, and I haven't watched the Gary Gensler part yet, so Stewart and Gary Gensler interview. Pretty glad that Jon Stewart did this. I'm not necessarily his biggest fan or whatever, but I mean, it's cool. It's bringing attention to it, so it's a good deal. Got that shared out. La 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 la. Okay. So anybody who wants to watch this, you can always rewind. Let me bring the charts up just in case I missed something. Oh. Definitely don't want to miss any movement. So I'm back up. 5 minutes. Okay, here we go.
Is the SEC the best system to do this?
I think the American public kind of gets it, that the system is not fully working for them. That's right.
Oh, yes. I believe
okay.
That's true.
All right?
The apes exposed something really interesting. They crowdsourced a way of rooting out corruption. They found things in the system that didn't seem right, like the information that they were getting was 2 weeks old, that they weren't being told that these 140% shorts totaled that 140%. They knew there was a short, but they didn't get that information until later, and they didn't get the information to the extent of it. And doesn't that show that disclosure and transparency are not functioning to the protection of investors?
I'm not saying this is without its challenges. There are real challenges. There are real challenges. Complexity helps them.
Give me a better system. Give me a better system to do this than the one we have in place. Because the one we have in place is getting its butt kicked.
I believe in this system. I believe in our American democracy. You're not going to get me to say
I'm not
something
saying
other than
give
that.
me a different system than American democracy. Purely based on the financial system we have and the stock market. Is there a better system than the SEC? Is there something
Gary Gensler's in a tight spot on this one. These are the questions that Charles Payne would have asked him.
Can be useful. Can there be a partnership between the SEC and a more crowdsourced?
John, I live within the system I'm in.
Dream, man, dream.
I'll dream, but I also want to get things done.
Okay.
I want to get things done on behalf of the investing public.
Have you thought about, outside of the bureaucracy, is there something that could help you be more agile?
So I would say, and the compliment goes to Senator Grassley from Iowa. Senator Grassley fought hard on a decentralization point you're talking about. It's called the whistleblower law. So in the aftermath of the '08 crisis and that big reform law, Dodd-Frank, Senator Grassley fought hard that this agency and some other agencies stood up and put in place a whistleblower program. And over the 10 or so years that this has stood up, we've given awards. That's a crowdsourcing, decentralized.
What do we need to do, and is the SEC not enough? You know, if you look at the past 10 years, right, or the past 20 years, the SEC very rarely will send something and recommend it to the DOJ for prosecution. That 2008 financial crisis.
That's not true. I mean, we bring about 700 750 enforcement cases a year, and And I could give you the exact figures, but a whole chunk of those are also joint criminal investigations.
Right. You know, with all the financial shenanigans that have gone over the years, the only person we've really brought to heel is Martha Stewart. And that's got to tell you something about just how tilted this thing is.
Oh, that's so true.
Well, speaking of Bernie Madoff, who came up with payment for order flow?
Yeah,
Right.
No, I understand. But he did serve his time in jail and everything. There.
One guy and one woman. Generally, it seems like people don't go to jail for financial crimes. They pay fines. I think that's a fair statement.
That's fair. But
Generally,
the Department of Justice has the criminal authorities.
Understood.
We have the civil.
That's right. And on the civil side, more than 50% of the fines levied from SEC judgments are not collected. There are less financial judgments that are levied now than there were 15 years ago. It doesn't seem like the SEC has the ability to keep up. Is there anything that you would think could bring more teeth to the SEC in terms of accountability that would be more of a stick?
I think what we can do is bring important cases that are sort of high-profile cases that show people, no, you're over the line. It could be accounting fraud. It could be insider trading.
But is there something that would be more...
They should start with basic stock structure, like how AMC is 3 times the float.
Is bars where individual accountability. There's nothing like individual accountability to send a deterrent across the whole market. If
Give American companies the right to do a share count at any point in time they have evidence that there is naked shorting happening to their stock.
To litigate. This agency has to be willing to go into court and, you know, take some losses from time to time, but go into court.
Right.
I think all of those things, but it's trying to use high-profile cases to bring folks back on the right side of the line. And also, I would say, a focus on gatekeepers. Gatekeepers, the accountants, the lawyers, the underwriters, and so forth. That sends a signal across the market, too.
Take out the little guys.
No. The gatekeepers, John.
Coming back in a year, we're going to see how this all worked out.
Give us a little bit more time, but yeah, I got it.
Well, by then, it'll be a whole different financial market.
All right.
Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Fascinating.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That looks like it was more of just some cuts, but the general idea is that Jon Stewart is talking to Gary Gensler about the current broken market system. And Gensler's like, oh, I like the system we're in. Oh, I like our... No, man, it's... The system they are currently in is so broke that they can't even keep track of how many shares a company owns, has, or has been shorted. None of the data makes any sense. AMC is at minimum 3 times past the legally issued float, and we have enough evidence of that the SEC could immediately go file a complaint, put in for AMC to have a legally authorized share count so that investors knew what they were getting into. So that's pretty wild. I'm sure there's more on that, but I mean, he knows. They know. Everybody knows. Adam Aaron knows, the SEC, Gary Gensler, the Shorts, Ken Griffin, they all know how many shares are actually out there. And until something is done about it, I'm just going to keep playing this game, man, because I know I'm on the winning side and I'm on the just side. So my theory is originally that there was 1.5 billion shares, the float plus the extra out there. And after Adam Aaron's announcement of 90% retail ownership, with 4 million investors, it looks to be true. But now I want to restate that I think retail owns the 1.5 billion shares, and I think the shorted shares and the institutional shares get added on to the end of that. So the 2 billion share count I originally came up with 3 months ago, and then brought back in to be conservative. Did a 20% error window for the polls we conducted on Twitter. I lost all faith in Stetler. Gary Gensler looked like he was scared. Why did he even go on with him? Because he didn't really have anything good to say. He basically defended the system that we know and Jon Stewart was calling out as fraudulent. So I I just don't get it, man. I think it's really going to come down to all the AMC shareholders demanding, I'm talking hundreds of thousands of shareholders demanding a share count all at the same time and getting in and filing motions with the board of directors. And I don't even want to say showing up on the front door of the SEC, man, and demanding fairness, because right now, with 1.5 billion shares, which other YouTubers and analysts and everybody have come up with too, that is so many more shares than is needed to make this thing squeeze off. Just owning the float with 20% short interest is enough to make it squeeze. And I'm not saying, okay, well, don't force the squeeze. That's part of the game, man. You took the bad bet. You shorted too many shares. You went in too deep. Tried to destroy a company so you could buy it for pennies on the dollar, which I fully believe Stephen A. Colanero, who was just removed from the AMC board of directors or will be retiring soon. Retiring. I think it was a forced retirement. I think he's a facilitator to bring down companies from the inside, just like Blockbuster and Radio Shack. I think Adam Aaron finally figured it out, who was working against him, who was sharing company information, making bad decisions. But that guy worked for Radio Shack and Blockbuster. Both of those companies took a dirt nap, and they were purchased for pennies on the dollar. AMC was next in line to be purchased for pennies on the dollar through the facilitator of Stephen A. Colanero, the death spiral lending from Apollo, and all that. We stopped it. Adam Aaron caught on to it, and now the company is doing amazing, right? But in that, catching them, they could have covered at $5. They could have covered at $10. They could have let this thing go. They could have got out of their position at $13 just a few weeks ago. But they didn't. They continue to double down and continue to short this play because they know, just like in The Big Short, at the very end, when Mark Baum says, no, they weren't stupid. They knew, and they didn't care. My theory is that the hedge funds will short and continue to make this bad short all the way up until everything collapses. They're not going to lose money. They are going to collapse everything. AMC will most definitely still squeeze, but I promise you, these hedge funds are not going to take any responsibility for anything they're doing. We'll see one or two people go to jail. Hopefully the DOJ investigation brings some stuff up. But we'll see, man. I know that we're on the right side of history and we're winning. Right now we're winning. And like I shared earlier, I did a video on the only TA I'll do, because I don't do TA. You guys, it's a chart with lines. The price goes up and down. Every single bullish outbreak pattern has went down, but this is what I do. I've found that there is an organic price trend line that I've been following since before January, right? This line seems to be the organic price trend line with AMC doing good as a company. So my only play right now on AMC is watching this price target, 1731. Actually, that should be right there. There we go. $17. If I start getting close to that $17 line in my head, I'm going, okay, I'm going to set aside some cash, because if it goes below 17, I might get a dip into my buy zone, this green box, right? This green box is very important. It starts at around $15, and that is my price I'm willing to buy in to average down a little further, because I averaged up and then I averaged down. So I watch $17 very closely. If it touches, I start preparing to have cash set aside to buy more shares once it gets down into the $15 range. If it doesn't, if I see a little bit of bounce in here, I might take a gamble and buy at 16. But the green box is my absolute 100% I am buying more shares zone, because I know it's eventually either going to pop or bounce back off of this yellow organic price trend line, which I think is our base price. You can't come in and short AMC and tell me it's worth $20 a share right now. So this price line out to September is exactly around $20. I got a line put up. So by the end of the year, at minimum, and I'm not this isn't financial advice, I plan to see AMC at minimum at $20 a share. So I don't mind buying 15 to 16 bucks a share right now. Once I get to the point to where averaging down is not beneficial, I will either choose to buy shares just to add to my position, or I'll just hold and make other plays. You guys can make other plays. We own 90% of the float, over 90% of the float. You guys, I mean, if you've got 500, 1,000, 2,000 shares and you think this thing's going to go past $1,000 a share, that's a lot of money. That's probably more money than any of us ever really need. So don't be scared to make other plays on the side right now without affecting your core AMC position, because I see everybody, like, I was up 65% yesterday on AMFL. Everybody's like, oh man, I missed out. You got to do your AMC, man, all the way. I love AMC. I'm in it to win it. But I've got enough shares where I know I'm going to be set for life if this thing squeezes off. So I made some other plays so I have more capital short term so that I can buy these dips. Don't get so locked into one thing that you miss everything else. So I got my buy zone. I got my targets I watch, $17 to $15 range. And then my top targets are the, let's see, what is that? $19.50. If I see it getting ready to break out there, then I know I can just sit back and chill, because then we're getting back into that $20 range. So, and personally, this is me. When retail popcorn starts, it hits the shelves, it's going to be a $300 million annual revenue stream minimum. And at that point in time, with increased admissions, increased concession sales, increased everything for AMC doing great, and our movie lineup this year, I really think AMC, in my opinion, not financial advice, is $50 a share base value. So, like Adam Aaron said, Q1, he said, don't blame us for Q1. Q1 is always a slower time. It's always, the earnings for a lot of companies aren't as good. The movies kind of got consolidated weird, so there's not a bunch of big banger blockbusters coming out in Q1. There's some good ones, but they've already predicted that on everything, the analysts, the price targets. I think Q1's priced in. I think we're going to be okay. I think Batman's going to do way better than they suspected. And if you guys want to make the company, we're the investor, we're the consumer. If you want to smash Q1 out the water, go to the movies, buy the popcorn, use AMC On Demand. Spider-Man No Way Home, you can pre-order right now on AMC On Demand for $20. I did it last night. So now randomly I'm going to get a alert from AMC Stubbs and say, hey man, your Spider-Man movie's ready. And that'll be my night, watching Spider-Man on the wall. So make sure you go to the movies. Tag Gary Gensler. Go to these tweets where Gary Gensler's like, well, I want to wait and fight for free and fair markets. Well, it's like, dude, AMC is 3 times over the float minimum. With basic math, we've found this out and nothing is happening. So let me see what now. N Hill, AA worked for Apollo for years, from 2006 to 2015. AA served as senior operating partner. Yep, we know about that. We were all really concerned about it too at the time, until he renegotiated the debt. I think Adam Aaron had a big change inside himself, and I think he knew Steven was part of this sabotage at AMC theaters to get it down to $1. And I think it was for Amazon to be able to buy them out. That's where the Amazon buyout rumors came from. AMC to Amazon is solid gold. They get all the leases. They get all the everything. It's perfect for, their video, their warehousing, everything. So I'm not worried about AA with his Apollo history on AMC anymore. I'm really not. I think he knows he's in it now. This is probably going to be his last big play, guys. He's getting ready to retire, and he doesn't want to leave a legacy behind where retail hates him. He's done a really good job so far. I wish he would reconsider the STO dividend idea, because I don't buy the whole, we have one debt covenant left that restricts us from doing a dividend. Why did you leave one debt covenant that restricts that when you just refied $900 million? Go in, negotiate it, do the STO. Don't even do it. Just say, tweet out, we are looking into what the STO dividend idea from Mark Cohodes and Terrible could give to the AMC investors for fundamental value. Don't say you're doing it for the squeeze. Just people knowing they weren't going to do it. When Adam Aaron said, I'm not going to do the STO dividend because it's likely illegal, we went from $40 down to $13 because shorts knew that that was off the table. And if you don't know what that is, look up the history with Overstock, where Overstock got shorted to death down to the dollar ranges. And Patrick Byrne and the folks created T0. Patrick Byrne isn't there anymore. They used T0 to make a security token, which proved that there was naked shorting going on, and it caused a bit of a squeeze, right? You can't have naked shorts if you have a one-to-one security token per your stock, because then it's not matching up. So they can go and say, DTCC, we have no confidence in your delivery or management of our shares. We want to recall. So guys, tag Gary Gensler, tell him, what are you doing about AMC being over the float? Retail owns over 90%, and institution reporting says 36%. We are 100% proof positive, at least bare minimum 36% over the legally issued float. So tag him, have a good day, keep the party alive.